the Shadow Work and Pension Secretary, Helen Whately, makes of it all. Good morning to you. It's nice to see you. Look, it's a fascinating debate, but it's fascinating to try and work out what the Conservatives are going to do about all of this, to be perfectly honest, because all we've really heard from your leader about this issue is that it's a very serious step that requires a proper national debate. Are the Conservatives for it or against it?
We're against the introduction of mandatory ID cards. We don't want to have a society where people can be stopped in the street and asked to show their ID. Completely opposed to that. And the fact is, this was an announcement rushed out at the last minute, and it's a last-minute thing from Keir Starmer to try and distract from all the problems. It's just a smokescreen for the failures of him and his government, for his failure to stop the boats, for his failure on the economy, for all the scandals from Angela Rayner, Peter Mandelson, and Morgan McSweeney, and questions over his own donations to his leadership campaign, this leadership contest from Andy Burnham. Keir Starmer is in so much trouble. People are so angry with him and his government, and so he's rushed this out just to try and move the headlines on.
Yeah, but this issue has come up time and again while the Conservatives were in power too. And it seemed that then you couldn't completely make up your mind about whether you were pro it or against it. What is Kemi Badenoch, what is her stance on this? Is she for digital ID or is she against?
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cybercriminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBnews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Well, what she said, and she's put this out this morning, is that she is strongly against mandatory digital ID, the requirement that people should have to have a government, a state ID, because we just don't think that we should be that kind of society. So this is completely the wrong response from Keir Starmer to his failure to stop the boats. And actually, this is not going to be the answer to controlling immigration. And in fact, when he's talked about this particularly being focused on work and people showing an ID in order to be into work initially. The fact is, already you have to show an ID when you're getting a job. Employers already are legally required to check an ID. And the problem of illegal working is when that ID isn't checked, for instance, and people are being paid in cash. So this completely won't solve the problem that Keir Starmer is trying to say it will solve. And I say it's just a distraction from the complete failures of his government.
OK, but if Kemi Badenoch is against the idea, as you say, why has she come out and said we need a national debate? What is there to debate if she thinks it's a bad idea?
So what she's talking about there, and this was initially when they just started hearing about some of these ideas, is that the public are interested in the idea of having easier ways to log into government services, and rather than having loads of different login, people like the idea of something that will make it more convenient and easier for them to access, whether it's their NHS details or whether it's for doing your tax return or different things like that. So people are open to the idea of kind of simpler digital ID systems. And of course, when at the moment lots of ideas are not digital and things should move with the times, but that is a completely different thing from what actually looks like Keir Starmer is planning to introduce, which is a mandatory ID, and that's a whole other thing which she and I and the Conservative Party do not support.
I just wonder, is anyone going to really care what the Conservative Party thinks? I don't wish to sound, I'm not trying to sound rude about that. It's just that, I mean, there's yet another poll, a mega poll, this one, 13,000 people. It's been done by YouGov, and it said that Reform UK, if there was an election tomorrow, Reform would win 311 seats, Labour would fall to 144, Lib Dems 78, Conservatives 45. You'd be wiped out if there was an election tomorrow.
Look, I'll be straight. I know that it is a tough time for us as a party, but I talk to people all the time and out on the doorsteps and out on the street and in my constituency and everywhere. And what I hear time and again is people are very, very angry with Keir Starmer and his government. They feel they're being completely let down. They are still angry with us, in part because they got Keir Starmer because they were frustrated with us at the last election and frustrated with the outcomes of the pandemic and how the country was. So they voted for change. They voted for Keir Starmer. They don't like what they've got. And therefore, they look to Nigel Farage and Reform and they say, well, this is something different. But also people say to me that they recognise Nigel Farage doesn't actually have any answers. He expresses people's anger. He expresses people's anger with immigration, for instance. But every time he comes out with a policy, it just unravels within hours. So they want somebody to be talking to them straight about the problems of this country. They're looking for answers, but they do know that Nigel Farage does not have those answers. He doesn't do the hard work. And actually, you need a party that's going to do the hard work and come up with the answers to the country's problems. And people also say to me on the doorstep, please, Conservatives, hang in there, because we're going to need you come the next election.
I was going to say, what is it like on the doorstep being Conservative at the moment? Because even the government doesn't recognise you as opposition anymore. They talk about Reform UK as being the opposition. I mean, it must be pretty depressing within the party at the moment. And there seems to be such a lot of infighting as well in the Conservative Party. You're not fit for government at the moment.
Not at all, actually. We are working extremely closely together and very united as a party and as a group of MPs in the shadow cabinet, for instance. But what I hear on the doorstep, I said, is that anger with Keir Starmer, actually including among Labour voters going to Reform. And this is one reason why the government is talking about Reform, is because Labour voters are going there. And actually, it's one reason you're reflecting that in some of the things that Nigel Farage says, like the fact that he would spend more money on benefits. And that's all part of his appeal to Labour voters. And that's why when I'm on the doorstep and people say to me, hang in there, we need the Conservatives because we need a party that we can trust on the economy. And we know you understand the economy. We know you understand about the importance of business, and it's on businesses that growth depends, on the importance of backing the people who work hard and who are earning their own keep, that we understand the importance of living within our means and getting the welfare bill under control, work I've been doing as Shadow Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. So it's something that Farage has no answers on. His party has got a whole load of fantasy economics, which would be a disaster for this country. So people know that they're going to need us. And as I say, they say to me, hang in there because we're going to need you at the next election.